Dr. Thokozani Mhlambi, welcome to the Spotlight.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's an incredible honor sitting in such good company. So you were in Cape Town for a one-night-only performance at the Baxter Theatre. Tell us what Song Cycle is all about.
The Song Cycle format is a format that was widely used, particularly in the 19th century in Europe, with composers such as Schubert and so forth. And what they would be doing is that they'd be taking the folk songs of their own traditions and then modernizing them and putting them into a classical formal concert style. Okay. And this compilation of songs that they'd be collecting then would eventually be called a song cycle. I also wanted to do the same, but with my own culture. And so Zulu Song Cycle for me is about taking the Zulu language, which is a very tonal language. It sings on its own, and using those to create a basis of songs that become a compilation.
I've listened to some of your stuff. It's very moving and emotional. There's a lot of historical messages that come through in your music. Why is that important for you?
Well, I think for me, I would say that I take the archive very seriously. Hence, I'm part of the Archive and Public Culture Research Initiative at the University of Cape Town. And that orientation for me has allowed me to be able to not only just romanticize about an African past, but to be very specific about it. And I think that's always sometimes missing in our desire to rediscover Africa, that we sometimes miss the rigor. We need to know the dates, we need to know how we arrived to this information. We didn't just sense it.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a lecturer at a university, you are also in contact with a new generation of kids. Sure. I mean, I don't think our youngsters today have the same attention span as we used to have back in the day. So you have to come up with new creative ways.
You'll have to make sure the message is on Instagram for this.
Exactly, on social media, absolutely. Yeah. What inspires you? What inspires your music?
I would say my music is inspired by people who have been modernizers of tradition, particularly Zulu tradition. In that sense, for me, I would bring to mind two names. One is Princess Makoko, who was the great Ugubu player, which is the Zulu royal instrument that was played in the courts, which is a bow with a calabash. And she would sing her own dramas and answer her own stories. And someone for me who does that really well as well is Professor Mazisu Kunene, who is the great Zulu poet.
So let's get back to Song Cycle. Who will be joining you in your performance? Because I think you're incorporating a bit of storytelling and dance.
The emphasis was that the experience of as the audience member comes in is that they are taken on this journey. It's like, okay, cool, it might be parts of the journey that you like, parts of the journey that you don't like, but you're in it now. And so the collaborators that I've brought in are really, really beautiful in that sense. Shiba Mazaza, who's like a curator and writer. And then we have a gentleman by the name of Kolisile Theo Ndindwa, who's a dancer and the director of Ikapa Dance Company. And then Nevagazi Mnukwana, who plays Uhati, the Xhosa bow Uhati, will be joining us as well, and her and I will be doing some interesting collaborations on stage.
Do you know newbie at traveling? Are there any plans for taking this abroad?
Yeah. But actually now I'm kind of feeling like, I feel like I've done enough abroad. I want to do something here now.
Yay! Yay, that's great to hear. Often our very extraordinary talents leave our shores to take this incredible art form abroad. Why is it important for you to bring it back home?
You know, it took me a while to figure out that Zulu saying that inyanga ayidumi lapha evela ngakhona, which means that an inyanga, which would be like a healer, does not become known where they come from. And I've always seen that as a great tragedy. But now I've come to see it in a different way, that in fact it's important that inyanga goes to seek out the best elsewhere, so that the local can be then redefined with this insight that is coming from elsewhere.
Tell me a little bit about you know, just you as a young boy. Can we go back there?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Newcastle, in KwaZulu-Natal, in Matadeni, which is a township in Newcastle. My musical tutelage for me began through the hymns and songs that we would sing as a family in my grandparents' home each evening. We would come together, open up the Wesleyan hymn books. I didn't realize it then. Suddenly now, as I'm backtracking and looking at the archives, I'm realizing that these were serious composers. When we were singing Liza Lisi Dingalako, which is by a composition by Theo Soga. These things are suddenly now coming back to me and realizing that, oh no, I was being trained in this tradition of early African intellectuals who were composing and creating art in ways that were quite profound given their limited resources.
When you just like hanging loose, what are the kind of music you like to listen to?
You know, I think I'm always a disappointment to people who think of doctors as very kind of highbrow. Like
Yeah.
When people come into my car and they hear Gom playing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, yeah.
and they'll hear Distraction Boys, or they'll hear Yagam Shungnizi.
And do you have some moves that goes with it?
A little bit there and there, like, but I need the right mood. I can't do it now.
Okay. We'll get you back in studio for that next time, and we'll see your moves. And perhaps maybe you could even incorporate that into your own music at some point.
Okay,
Who
cool.
knows?
I think you've given me an idea.
Well, it was so wonderful chatting to you on the Spotlight. Thank you. You're amazing, and all the best with your show.
Thank you, Tanya.
What a great guy. Song Cycle will also showcase at the Soweto Theatre on the 8th of June. On that note, it's almost time to head to the movies. See you after this.